Who was Uranus? Have you ever stopped to wonder how the greatest gods of Greek mythology, and even the very concepts of power, creation, and rebellion, were born from a shadowy secret tied to the starry sky itself? What if I told you that, behind all the epic tales of mighty deities, there lies a startling paradox? The very first supreme god was also a prisoner of his own fear. Very few people dare to ask, was Uranus actually the hidden hero or the original villain, capable of spawning both monsters and legends? Get ready to dive deep into shocking conflicts and shatter everything you thought you knew about the origins of the Titans and the gods of Olympus. Uncover right now the secret that forever changed the fate of the mythological universe, and just might change the way you see this whole story. They say it all began in the absolute silence of the primordial void, back when the universe was just finding its feet, unsure, aimless, still figuring out where it wanted to go. Out of that swirling chaos, Gaia emerged, the earth herself, mother of all things. And it was from this almost magical connection that Uranus came to be. He wasn't born in any ordinary way, not the child of someone's womb, but rather sprang forth straight from the very essence of Earth. His birth was primeval, almost poetic, the kind of beginning only myth can conjure. Picture a sky so vast and complete that it wrapped itself around the Earth, binding them together so tightly they became utterly inseparable. Uranus became the very embodiment of the endless star-studded sky, always hovering over Gaia, not just as a protective blanket, but as something more oppressive too. Their relationship was a dance between the urge to create and the shadow of quiet tyranny. Even though Uranus was crucial to bringing life into the world alongside Gaia, he lived in constant fear that their children might one day overthrow him. So he forced his offspring back into the depths of the earth, trapping them inside Gaia herself. From day one, this new generation was born into struggle, fighting against repression and longing for freedom. That tug of war between sky and earth set the stage for everything that followed, each new being marked by the baggage of an epic cosmic family drama. In Greek mythology, the story of Uranus is packed with those kinds of paradoxes. He's the ultimate creator, the one who started it all, but at the same time, he stands as the first tyrant, the original force that every future generation would have to rise up against. And isn't it funny how, even today, so many of us feel that deep urge to break free from whatever's holding us back, to create something brand new, even when it means taking huge risks? Before long, even wilder twists would shake up this divine family tree, stories packed with unexpected turns and lessons in courage. From that first union between Uranus and Gaia came the Titans, a generation of 12 mighty beings who stood for the fundamental forces of the universe. They embodied things like the ocean, time, justice, and memory, and became larger-than-life characters in Greek myth. Their arrival marked the dawn of a new lineage of gods, gods who weren't afraid to push boundaries. With the Titans, the age of creation really kicked off, launching the cosmos toward uncharted territory. It was obvious that big changes were on the horizon for these up-and-coming heirs. But Gaia's creative spark, fueled by Uranus's energy, didn't stop with the Titans. Next came the Cyclopes, one-eyed giants, famous for crafting thunderbolts and representing pure, innovative brute strength. Alongside them were the Hecatoncheires, monstrous beings with 100 arms and 50 heads, the very definition of excess and primal chaos. These wild creatures made it clear that, at the dawn of the cosmos, nothing was ever half-measure. Everything was massive, untamed, and bursting with unpredictability. Feeling threatened by the power of his own children, Uranus tried to slam the brakes on this wild, creative streak. Driven by the tyranny of fear, he locked away the Titans, Cyclopes, and Hecatoncheires deep within Gaia's womb. This move crushed any hope for revolution within those newborn generations. What Uranus didn't realize, though, was that he was actually planting seeds of rebellion, seeds that would soon spark a whole new chapter in the story of the universe. setting the stage for even bigger shakeups down the line. Blinded by his fear of losing control, Uranus lashed out cruelly at his own offspring. In no time, he had thrown the Titans, Cyclopes, and Hecatoncheires into the depths of Gaia, snuffing out any chance of an uprising. This crackdown brought suffering not just to his children, but to Earth itself. Gaia felt her insides turning with unrest. Robbed and powerless, Gaia started plotting her revenge. Under Uranus's iron-fisted rule, the vibe grew heavy and downright grim. Uranus's reign hinged on keeping everyone in check through fear and tight control, fueling a cycle of pain and resentment among his descendants. Every attempt at protest was crushed, and their captivity seemed never-ending. Even so, Gaia's children clung to hope, for freedom, for justice. This stifling atmosphere laid the groundwork for all the epic celestial clashes still to come. The whole cosmos felt as if it was about to crack wide open, just waiting for the right moment to break free. Unable to bear her children's suffering any longer, Gaia took matters into her own hands. She turned to the Titans for help in defying Uranus. Only Cronus, the youngest of the bunch, was bold enough to take up the challenge, armed with a sickle forged by his mother. The plan was daring and dangerous, charged with both the longing for freedom and the dread of their father's wrath. Waiting for the perfect moment, Cronus struck while Uranus's guard was down, pulling off an act that would go down as one of the most jaw-dropping moments in Greek mythology. At just the right moment, Cronus struck brutally and without mercy, castrating his own father in an act that couldn't be undone. The impact was immediate. Uranus lost his grip on everything, and his children were finally freed from their prison. This wasn't just the end of an era, it was the dawn of the Titans' rule. Cronus took his place as the new king, but the sheer violence of his rebellion left deep scars, shaping the fate of the gods and the world itself. The cycle of power and rebellion had become a permanent fixture in the lives of these divine generations. As Uranus was overthrown, his blood spilled onto Gaia, breathing life into a new wave of formidable and meaningful beings. Out of that blood sprang the Furies, vengeful spirits, along with the terrifying giants and the Meliae, tree nymphs. Each of these new figures embodied wild, untamable aspects of the universe, expanding the mythological landscape. They stood as proof that conflict and the raw forces of nature were here to stay. The cosmic order grew even more complex, full of diversity and shrouded in mystery. Meanwhile, out at sea, where Uranus's severed genitals had been cast, the waters frothed into a white foam. From this foam, Aphrodite emerged, the goddess of love, beauty, and desire, destined to play a leading role among both gods and mortals. The birth of these powerful beings showed that even the most violent acts can spark new, fertile forces that bring about massive change. From Uranus's blood came both vengeance and passion, two sides of the same coin in Greek mythology. The world kept expanding outward, opening up fresh possibilities and daunting new challenges. Defeated, Uranus laid down a prophecy for Cronus. One day, he too would be overthrown by one of his own children, just as he had done to his father. This dark prediction hung over the new king of the Titans, shaping every move he'd make on the throne. Haunted by the fear of betrayal, Cronus went to extremes to cling to power. This anxiety became one of the driving forces behind so many of mythology's tragedies and conflicts, fueling drama across the generations. Fate, relentless as ever, always seemed ready to come back around. Terrified of losing his throne, Cronus started swallowing each of his children the moment they were born, a desperate bid to dodge his father's prophecy. But there's no escaping the eternal cycle of godly succession. Zeus, saved by Gaia and Rhea, grew up hidden away, waiting for his moment to challenge Cronus. And with that, Uranus's prophecy kept echoing through time, locking parent and child in a seemingly endless struggle for power. This legacy defines the core of power and renewal in the mythological universe, stressing the inevitability of change and the eternal return of order among the gods. So, what did you think of this fascinating chapter on Uranus and the origins of the Titans and Greek gods? The journey is just getting started, and the next twists and turns are sure to bring even more drama and surprises. After all, the fate of the Olympian gods is far from settled. I want to hear from you. Did you already know these details about Uranus's saga and the secret behind the birth of the Titans? Drop a comment below, share your thoughts, and let me know what stood out to you the most. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a chance to delve into the mysteries of Greek mythology. Stick around to watch this story unfold and discover, right alongside me, what fate has in store for these legendary gods and monsters.